Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Today I thought I'd do a little pendant, and I have a bunch of random cabs that I've been collecting over the years, and this one is kind of a triangular, sort of a rounded triangle shape. It's either a picture jasper or some kind of rhyolite. It's got some kind of wavy lines in it that are pretty, and I think it'll make for a nice pendant. So I'm going to do just kind of a simple setting for it. It's going to have two prongs holding it in, plus some sides on it a little bit. I'll show you in a minute, but it should be kind of a fun project, and hopefully it'll produce a pretty result. So let's see what we can do with it. So this is one of my design idea sketchbooks that are available on my merch store. There's a number of different models. This particular one has flow temperatures of various types of solder in it. It also, some of the other ones have conversion charts or ring sizing information, saw blade stuff, all that kind of useful metalsmithing information. But the key feature for me is it's a place for me to sketch out my projects with this nice kind of dot matrix in the background that helps me to do better pictures, as drawing is not my strongest suit. And then I have a permanent record of what I've made in case I want to go revisit it again at some point. Alright, here's what I had in mind for today. Oh, and these are available on my merch store, so you should get yourself one or two of them. I think that's a great way to keep track of your projects. Alright, so this is either a rhyolite or some kind of picture jasper. It looks more like a rhyolite to me. Sometimes they have some swirly patterns in it, but either way, it's really pretty. It's got some kind of earth tone-ish reds and tans and things like that. I'm going to set it so it remains kind of the focus of the piece with kind of a minimalistic setting. I have this piece of sheet that's about 18 gauge. I'm going to use that for these side pieces. It's about 4.5 millimeters tall. I cut it off of a slab of recycled silver that I cast a while back. And so we'll use that to make these little curlicues. For the stone itself, I'm going to create a frame that is exactly the same size as the stone so you can't see it from above. Out of 16 gauge square, which is 1.3 millimeters. I have a little chunk of that right here, so hopefully I have enough of that. I'll probably use the same stuff for the two prongs it's going to have. The reason I only need two prongs, I think, is because this is going to contain it. It's tall enough to where it's going to stick up over the stone, and again, I can file it down a little bit shorter if I want it to be, but the stone shouldn't be able to go anywhere, I think, if we do it this way. But I guess we'll find out for sure when it'll be a good experiment. I think our first step, though, is going to be to make a framework out of this for this. So we're going to start by making it so that it is a complete triangle that just fits perfectly under the outside edge of the stone so you can't see it when you look at it from above. So let's start with that. If you're new to my channel, here's a little bit about my soldering and torch information. Having a little time pressure today, so I picked kind of a simple project. I'm not even sure if I can bend this that sharply, so I think what I might do, so let's make a little mark and let's cut a notch in it so we can bend it more sharply. Right there. It'll give us that much more flexibility as far as bending it sharply. Then when we solder it together again there, it'll become a whole piece again. But we don't want to go all the way through. See? That's not too bad, actually. I think we can make a mark where this curve kind of needs to start right about there. Square wire has a tendency to try and twist on you because it's trying to find an easier way to bend, because you're stretching the outside edge here and compressing the inside edge, so it tries to go diagonal on you, which we don't particularly want. Get a flatter surface to rest it on then. Okay, let's make a scratch right where they cross. Cut it there and then I'll file it a little bit. Cut this pretty thin up here. I don't want to bend it back and forth too much because it'll break before we solder it. So let's get these lined up and we'll solder it all together. Cut ourselves a little bit of hard silver sheet solder. So I'm going to pick solder here and here, but you can just lay a little piece on there if you don't know how to pick solder. Although I would recommend learning how to pick solder if you're interested. Put a link up there for you. I have a pretty good video about that. It's one of those skills that made a huge difference in the things that I was able to do. It just allows you to deliver just the right amount of solder where you want it to go pretty effectively. Sticks out just a skosh right on this side, so I'm going to file that side a little bit thinner. Okay, so now we're going to need to put a prong kind of in the center of this down here. So let's make a little mark there. And then right at the top here. Alright, so one of the easiest ways to put some upward prongs in something like this is to use one of these softer surfaces like a magnesia block. So we can just cut a couple of prongs that are longer than we need. Alright, so we should be able to just solder right, get those two attached that way. If you've not done something with prongs before, this sort of a prong setting is kind of an easy starting place. If you have a softer surface like this, or like a Cool Tools kiln brick, those things are soft and can be poked into as well. I need a little more heat than this. My torch is a little low. want to make sure both the prong and the base get up to that 1450 degrees that hard silver sheet solder flows at. Get off of there. And check to make sure those are on pretty good. They feel like it. I'm actually going to leave these pokey parts attached for the moment because eventually we'll cut these off, but I still have some other soldering to do, and it might make it easier to keep them in place if we can poke them down into the soft surface like that in the future, at least for the time being. But what we need to do now is we need to, these pieces, we need to curl the end on one of these like this, just a little bit. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to file it flat first. I haven't really decided what I'm going to make that bail out of, so let's see if we can get it started by doing this. I'll cut it about right there. I'm going to try and get that one soldered first, and then we'll get it positioned a little better. I just wanted it to have kind of the right angle. That'll kind of keep it in place, maybe. Alright, let's solder that. We'll put a little bit more solder in that top one. Overall, I think we did okay. I have a slight difference in depth on the back here. However, I don't know that I care that much about that. That looks okay with a little bit of cleaning up. Alright, so I need to think about this bail because we need something that's triangular. So I may make a sandwich bail which has two pieces of sheet with a little stopper up top and a stopper down below. But let's see about this. If you want to see how to make a sandwich bail, here's a video about it right up there. I think we can get a second one off of there. So we'll be soldering one on top of the other of this, except with a gap between them. So let's find something I can use as a spacer. This looks like a little bit of flattened 12 gauge. So we'll just cut a piece of that off. Solder it right to the top there like that. I'm going to put a like 14 gauge round wire or something straight up and down up there, and then we can mount this on top of it. Alright, so we should be able to just solder that off. Alright, so we find a little bit of 14 gauge round or something like that. I got all these little scraps all over my table. It's handy when you need a little scrap. So I think what I'll do is I'll just pick this up with the tweezers, and I'll get a little bit of this. Well, let's file the end flat first. We'll flux this, and I will pick up a little bit of solder on it, and then we'll just plop it right there. And we'll just file those both kind of. What do you say we now sweat some solder onto this and then just flip this over and solder them together? Take a moment, try and get this lined up nicely. shifted a little bit on me, but I think I got it mostly corrected. So we'll clean that up with the file. Maybe we can solder it onto the top of this thing. Well, I think let's pull out the magnesia block one more time. I think for this one I'm going to use a little bit of easy solder, just for giggles. Okay, let's cross our fingers and see if we can get this all assembled. And it looks like it's on there, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these off. I may do a little bit of filing to make this a little bit closer to the other side so it's not a little wonky that way. And we'll see how it comes out. But for now I'm going to pickle this and we'll come back and finish it in a few. Okay, a couple of things I did. I got this kind of polished up, and I got most of the polishing compound out of it. It looks like there's a little bit on the inside here still. Sometimes that stuff is tenacious. So I'm going to call it good, but I did taper these down and cut them to just where they just a little bit above the stone. And I think let's start by pushing this one down. And this one. I was a little worried about breaking the stone when I did that because I don't know how hard this stone is. But I think we got it in there. And I think that's a relatively attractive pendant. So I'll get it polished up with a polishing cloth, put it on a chain, and get some better pictures. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you would have done different. Okay, well that was the triangular rhyolite pendant. I hope you enjoyed that and found some useful tips in that project. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button before you go. YouTube also has a new feature called hyping. If you can hype my video, that helps as well. And certainly leave a comment. I love to hear what people think. Tell me what you might have done differently or whatever. Share your story or just say hi. Before you go, I'd love it if you'd hit my main channel page on YouTube here. I have 650 plus videos now. I put out 3 per week, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, and one on Saturday. So there's a constant stream of good information coming out regarding metalsmithing projects. Make sure to hit the subscribe button before you go. There's no cost to that, and it helps you find my content much more easily. So make sure to do that before you leave. I'd like to thank a couple of groups of people. First off, my patrons over on Patreon are my core group of supporters. I have someone who came back after a hiatus, Carrie C. Thank you for signing back up. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate the support of all my other patrons too. They make this possible for me, and not only with their financial help, but also they've created this lovely environment on Patreon where I can tap into their knowledge and we can share ideas and resources and things like that. So it's a really nice community over there. So thanks for making it that way. The other group are my YouTube subscribers, and we just passed 29,100, which is amazing. Thanks for that. Thank you also for all of the kind comments and the financial help, the super thanks, the buy me coffees, the merch purchases, or my ebook buys. All of that stuff makes my channel sustainable, and I couldn't do it without your help either. So thanks for that. The video description down below has some important links in it. There's a link to my Patreon if you want to find out more about that community and check it out. There's a link to my merch store if you want to get yourself one of those nice design idea sketchbooks or some other cool merch. And finally, there's a link to my newest ebook, which is a guide to 2025's tutorials. I did over 170 last year. There's a page for each of those, and it includes a link to the video. Plus, it also has a picture of the sketch I drew at the beginning, a final outcome picture, a list of materials it took to make the project, stone information if it had a stone in it, and a difficulty rating, as well as some notes I took about the project, including things like would I have done it differently if I was to approach it again, or did I like the outcome and why or why not, and what would I do different. Did I learn something from the project? I almost always learn something when I try something new, so hopefully I can help you to learn something new too. It's a nice way to have a whole bunch of projects right at your fingertips, and a really nice way to support my channel. So get yourself one of those. Or even better, get all 3 of them. I've done it for 3 years, 2023, 2024, 2025. So you can get all 3 of those on the merch store as a package deal for $15 off. So you have plenty of projects to keep you busy for a long time if you buy all 3 of them at the same time. So, all right, well, thanks for watching today. Take care. Happy silversmithing.